Well, hello everybody. Pastor Andy here. Welcome to Making It Simple. Great to be back with you today. Had a couple of days off last week, so I want to just get right back to where we were. We were talking about being satisfied. Now that's a broad word because we find satisfaction in so many different areas in life. We have that visually. Our taste and smells and all those things can be satisfying, our emotions. We just kind of run the gauntlet with that word, but it all depends on what fulfills those voids as to whether we can accurately and honestly answer the question, are you satisfied? We ended off last time we were together, which I believe was Wednesday of last week, talking about the woman at the well and how she found the answer in the living water offered to her by Christ. And she ran to tell others what he had done for her. So let's ask this question. Are you thirsty? Are you thirsty? Now, we talked about this last week in the lessons last week, the things that we can thirst after. And it's not just a drink of water or whatever, but we thirst after power and fame and so on, notoriety, whatever the case. What are you thirsting after today? And if you are thirsty, and everybody is for something, everybody is looking for that word satisfaction, how are you handling that? What are you doing to fill that void? This is a mirror moment. You know, we often have those in these lessons at Making It Simple, the mirror moment. In other words, I've got to stop and evaluate this. What's the truth? What am I doing for that? What am I doing to satisfy that need or that concept or that pursuit or whatever? And here's the other question. Have you taken of the living water that Christ offers? See, because he says, if you drink of this water again speaking of the literal water that she was drawing from the well, he said, you will thirst again. We talked about that. That's real. You know, I could have one here as an illustration or whatever, but a glass of water, bottled water, you can drink that and you can be, quote unquote, satisfied for a little while, whatever it may be, an hour or whatever, or 2 hours, but eventually you're going to need and want more. Both. Your body is going to say, hey, listen, man, I'm thirsty. But your desire is, yeah, a good drink would be good right now. We oftentimes are pursuing things in life that we are seeking satisfaction in. Work, careers, relationships, whatever the pursuit may be, but what are we filling that void with? What are we attempting to find satisfaction through? What are we using to create that? Are you satisfied? Because the invitation that we've got here in this part of the series is, come and be satisfied. Isaiah says, everyone who thirsts, come to the water. Everyone. Are you satisfied? What are you drinking? Have you taken of the living water? Have you grasped what God is offering to you, that He is saying to you today, I can take care of that. There's an old gospel song, one of my very favorites to sing sometimes in service, called There is a River. And part of the line in that said, there is a river that never shall run dry. That's what God offers us. That's the never-ending supply that He offers us. Do we take of that? That's what Jesus was talking about when He says, if you take of this water again, you shall thirst again. But if you take of this living water that I offer you, you'll never thirst again. In other words, it is an eternal supply. It lasts forever. And even greater, it totally satisfies. In other words, once we truly come to know Christ, once we truly come to understand He is the answer, not an answer, but the answer, we don't have to look anymore. Isn't that great? We don't have to look for the answer anymore when we know what it is. Isaiah references water here. It's referring obviously to divine grace as well, which is an endless supply. If you are thirsty, if you are in need, he can supply all that you have. He's saying, come to me. Let me help you. I see your struggles. I see how thirsty you are. I can take care of that. I can fulfill that need. So come. The invitation has been given. See, we oftentimes kind of lose that in several conceptions in life. But I would say greatly so that exists within the realm of the church, understanding faith and whatever. Because we've almost developed a system, if you will. You got to kind of go by that. You got to do this, you got to say that, you got to repeat this. But friends, the truth of it is, that's not what Scripture says. Not at all. Now again, that's probably ruffled a few feathers just by that statement. But understand, what does Jesus say? Come to me. That's the invitation. He's already given it. There's nothing I can say. There's no words that I can give you that you can just regurgitate that is going to bring you closer to Him. That is what the personal relationship is all about. He's saying, come to me. I can take care of that. The invitation has been given. Are you satisfied today? Because if not, with your life, with your health, with your position, your career, your relationship, your home. Again, we could have every kind of list of everything, material, spiritual, emotional, every financial, every kind of way. And that question still holds true. Are you satisfied? Most people, if we're honest, would say no. Because we're always looking for more. We never, it's like the old song. I've seen this and I've seen that. I've gone here, I've gone there. But I still haven't found what I'm looking for. That's because there's only one source of truth. There's only one source of life, the creator of life. There's only one source of reality, and that is Christ Himself. Does your thirst continue? Does it persist? Can it not be satisfied? Can it not be quenched? These are questions that we have to answer because they don't go away. And while we can see things can go too far sometimes in pursuits, which can lead to problems, addictions and sickness and all kinds of different stuff. But when we understand what the Lord is saying, are you thirsty? Let us consider that from both the physical and the spiritual, because they both create desire and they both need fulfilling. One is temporary, one is eternal. This holds true in our thirst, but it also holds true in our hunger. Isaiah says, come to me, come who is thirsty, come all who is thirsty, come you to the waters. You have no money, you have to buy it, you come to eat. What are you hungering for? You said, well, Pastor, it's kind of like the same thing as thirsting, isn't it? Well, when we're hungry, when our bodies are hungry, it's telling us that we need something. It's not as much a desire sometimes as much as it is you got to fill the void, right? Because again, you may not have access to a steak and a baked potato. It may just be a pack of crackers. But when you're hungry, that holds you over for just a little while. Sometimes we get a little more concerned about that and we look at the nourishment side and vitamins and proteins or whatever. So we need a nourishment that satisfies a physical need. Okay? Stomach's growling, I feel weak, maybe my sugar level is dropping. There's all kinds of different things that go about with when we're hungry. And sometimes when one is hungry, they can get desperate. In other words, I'll take anything. We don't get as picky. It kind of does go the same way with thirsty. We just need something. My dad used to say, I just need something that's wet. How are these two comparative? They both return. The thirst returns. The hunger returns. Yes, we have a good meal. We feel satisfied, but maybe we take a walk. Maybe we just go to bed and wake up the next day. Our body has done what it does, and it's received the nutrients that it have. It's gotten rid of what it doesn't need. And so now there's a void there again. And it's time for breakfast, it's time for lunch, or whatever the case. It continues to come back. But Jesus said, if you thirst, take of the living water. So is there an equivalent? Is there something that if we're hungry that can help us become satisfied? Yes. We have a spiritual hunger too, friends. Maybe even some would argue that. Well, no, I don't have this or that. Well, give me just a couple of minutes here. Why is a spiritual hunger? Why is this a need? How is it fulfilled? Many are on a journey for a very long time, looking for the answer to that question. Am I satisfied? Can I be satisfied? Can I be fulfilled? Spiritual hunger, like physical hunger, demands for food. Okay? Something that can fill that nutritional void that we have. Spiritual hunger calls for the bread of life. See, it's just like the water that Christ offers. There's a never-ending supply. It says He is the bread of life. He can supply our every need, everything that we have. It's always available, and it's always fresh, and it's always new, and it's been paid for. It's provided to us at no cost, with no strings attached. See, many things today say, oh, it's all free. But there's always a but. Not with Jesus. He offers us what He's done for us, and it's ours for the taking. In other words, the invitation has been given. Will you receive that? All we have to do is ask. Jesus says in Matthew 5:6, blessed are they which hunger and thirst after righteousness. That's key. Not blessed are they who thirst and hunger after, being the Oscar winner or being the MVP of the Super Bowl or this, that. And I'm not saying those things are wrong. But when we're truly looking for satisfaction and fulfillment, even those things are temporary. You may win the Super Bowl MVP this year, and then your team may not win again for 10 years. But the desire for that never goes away. The hunger for that, especially if you've had a little bit of it, it never goes away. The Lord is saying here, I want to give you something that will last you forever. I want to give you something that will satisfy your soul. So in this Matthew, He says, blessed are they which hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Filled. Think about that from what that word means. It means complete. It means satisfied. It means whole. It means completed. All of this stuff. When we go it alone, and oftentimes this journey that we're on is that we go it alone, we only ever find temporary results. Well, I like this, I like that. Okay, I have things that I like too. But let's just use this for an example. You have your favorite drink or your favorite food item or whatever the case, and you go to the store and they don't have it. They're out, sold out, or maybe they've discontinued it. There could be a multitude of different illustrations that we could give. Over this last year, there's been things that have, quote unquote, had shortages. kind of hard to wrap your mind around a little bit, but things like heavy cream, eggs, just kind of the staples of life that we really don't think about. But they weren't there. The shelf was empty, or the cold part in the freezer or the refrigerator section was empty. But that's what I really want. That's the only thing that'll satisfy my desire. But it's not there. So I can't fulfill that need, even though it's what I want. So the best thing that we can find in life on our own pursuit is temporary. I mean, that's it. It only lasts for a little while, and then we want more. Or it only lasts for a little while, and it doesn't exist anymore. You got to find something new. We're always looking to fill that void. Again, we go back to the woman at the well. She's trying to fill that void through relationship. The idea of fulfillment, the idea of satisfaction, the idea of being, looked after and taken care of, or made to feel loved. But it didn't last. Hunger is very much the same thing, because every single thing when it comes to hunger that can be offered by the world is temporary. Every meal, no matter how great it is, and you may have just had the best meal you've ever had in your life, but later on today you'll want another one. Or tomorrow, at some point in time, your body will demand it. You will have to have something because it doesn't last. That's not being negative. That's realistic. Every human effort to satisfy spiritual hunger, hear me again. If you're a note taker, maybe you want to write this down. Every human effort to satisfy spiritual hunger fails. It's never enough. Because we're always wanting what? More. That was good. I think I'll have a little more. That was nice. I think I'd like to do it again. Whatever the case. And we're not talking about being a glutton or somehow seeing this wrong as much as it didn't satisfy. What we have to understand is it didn't satisfy. It didn't work. Because while it was good at the moment, it didn't last. That's not being negative. That's not looking at it through a pessimistic view. I'm going to end on this for today. When it comes to our spiritual hunger, friends, why do you think there are hundreds, maybe even thousands if we really got deep into the study on this, but for sure hundreds of religions around the world? It's because there's a spiritual hunger. And the pursuit of anything but Jesus will leave you hungry. And that's the bottom line. Because Jesus is the only one with the claim and the backup to that claim of being the bread of life, the living water, the creator of all. On so and on so on. He's the only one that can satisfy what we need, because he created us. He knows what we need. And the Bible is very clear. He will supply our every need. So why would we pursue anything else? But yet still, there is a spiritual hunger. All around the world, people are looking for answers. People are wanting answers. So there are hundreds, again, maybe thousands of different views and belief systems and faiths and religions and whatever the case. But what happens is, in the process of creating that, is we get sets of rules that few can keep. We see frustration set in when answers are not found, and the hunger persists. The hunger continues to grow, and it appears that there's no way to satisfy this need. That is always the case when you don't find the real answer. Are you satisfied? We're going to pick back up on this tomorrow as we understand the fulfillment of a void, the completion of a brokenness, to be made whole, can only be done with the right item, the right product, the right whatever that actually works and actually lasts. And there's only one who fulfills all of that in our spiritual life, and his name is Jesus. I really pray with all my heart that you know him today. And if you don't, we're going to continue this journey on the great invitation from the Bible and understand when he says, come to me, I will give you rest. That is the invitation to come and learn more about him. Learn about this living water. Learn about this bread of life. Learn about this one who can change you forever from the inside out and make you who you were created to be. God bless you. Thank you for joining me here today at Making It Simple. Lord willing, I'll see you tomorrow.